So hi guys, thank you so much for watching our video. Hope you all are doing great. Today we have with us Kelvin, who's going to talk about his life as a volunteer during this pandemic. So starting off a little bit, my name is Lemming. I'm the campaigns officer for Volunteering Committee. So Volunteering Committee is a working committee at the University of Sheffield. The purpose of our committee is to be the ambassadors for Sheffield volunteering, to create a connected community of volunteers, to represent student volunteering interests and work creatively with the manager in guiding the program, and to promote and showcase student volunteering. So should we let Calvin to introduce himself?
Hi everyone. My name is Kelvin Obiano. I just completed my master's degree at the University of Sheffield. By qualification, I'm a medical doctor, and I come from Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Calvin. So what was your role as a volunteer during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes. During this COVID-19 pandemic, I can clearly remember how it was when it all started in March. Um, when the whole pandemic started, it took everybody by surprise, and we're all asked to stay back or stay home, and nobody was supposed to come out. And then for me, it was a little bit different because as, as a medical personnel in my country, as a medical doctor in my country, we've always been working at the front line. So I was studying here, and I realized that okay, because of as a student, I was not able to practice, and I didn't have a license to practice, so I couldn't volunteer in the capacity as a medical doctor during this period. Then I had to find out which other way I could contribute my own services to this pandemic. That is when I had to check with the Royal Volunteers. Then I enrolled with them, and then I started volunteering. That's actually how I decided to start volunteering, because I realized that a lot of people were told to stay at home, and these people that were told to stay at home needed supplies, they needed materials, they needed items, but they were asked to stay at home. So when I got the opportunity to, okay, I could go meet these people and help them safely anyway, then I took the opportunity to actually do that. It was just quite, it was not easy because I know I couldn't tell my family members that I was trying to do this. Because everybody you told you're going to do this at the height of the pandemic will say, "Are you all right? Why do you want to do that?"
So
So I kept telling them that it was safe. There was still social distancing. When I go to these people's houses, I try to keep the meet some distances, and I was wearing my mask and everything. But you just couldn't convince some people like that.
So you talk about the reasons why you become a volunteer. So what
Yes.
does your task involves?
Yes. What the task was actually very simple, but not very simple at the same time. There was an app that you had to download, and when you downloaded this app, your location was shared. So if there was any resident within your community who needed any form of help, you got an alert. So your phone would start to ring, and then when you look at the message, it tells you where the person is. So you have to call the person and then ask the person how you could help the person. So you could call the person. Sometimes it meant going to the pharmacist to pick up prescriptions for them. It could mean going to the grocery store to do shopping for them. And then it could also mean that sometimes you have to move like more than 1 mile or more than a kilometer sometimes to actually locate this. Yes, I got stuck one day. I couldn't find a bus back home.
So how did you know about the opportunity to volunteer?
Yes, since I arrived at the University of Sheffield, I actually registered at the volunteering at the University of Sheffield volunteering. I already checked it out already, and I've been looking through the website or through the site to see the latest opportunities that would come up. Then I think one way or the other, I stumbled against the Royal NHS volunteers. It's
Oh,
called the Sami app, yes. Then I decided to I had to look at it to see what it entailed, and it looked okay. And safety was actually still held and recognized even during the process of the volunteering. And then I decided to give it a shot.
mm. So like how do you feel, or maybe you can
Yeah,
share your thought process as when you are volunteering?
come again?
So like, how do you feel? Like, what are your feelings and your thought process
Oh,
during
yes.
as a volunteer?
I mean, how did I feel when I was volunteering?
Yes. Like,
Oh,
have
yes.
your experience? What is your most memorable experience?
Yes, it's during the process. It was quite interesting because when you went to people's houses to drop items or to give them items, then they'll be looking at you. Even there, they're wondering like, okay, why did you even decide to do this? Because some of them were isolating. Everybody was really really scared at that point. Nobody understood the virus and nobody wanted to come out. You
Yes.
understand? So I felt I was initially I felt a little bit nervous because it was kind of pandemic, new kind of pandemic, a virus that nobody was sure about. Why do I want to put myself in front of it? But at the same time, when I was able to complete the task of giving these people the services, helping them, delivering their medications to them at their homes, so they didn't have to come out, for some of them, you could see the smile on their faces. You could see how happy they were. You, that was like a form of satisfaction. That gave me satisfaction. Like, okay, fine, they're happy. They seem relieved. Like some of them thought I was even being paid for it. Like some of them thought I was being paid for it because they were surprised. Yeah, but it felt really really good. It felt nice to actually contribute my own part in my own way to my community.
Mm, it's such an inspiring story. Um, what do you enjoy the most during your volunteering experience?
Yes. When I went to deliver some of these items to some of these individuals, some of them were really, really nice and appreciative. Some of them were nice. Some people were shocked to see me in front of their doorstep in the first place. And they were just looking, but then they were very polite. But I enjoyed the fact that I enjoyed the concept of humanity. We all as basic human beings, irrespective of where we came from, irrespective of what we do, our skin color, our religious affiliation, it didn't matter that time. It didn't matter that time. It was all about the basic human needs. Really, that was what mattered at that point, and I enjoyed helping people, and I enjoyed that they actually were happy for the little that we were able to do for them during that time. Yes.
So, is there any safety precautions when you are volunteering? Like, do you guys maintain social distancing and stuff?
Yes, there was a lot of social distancing because when we're going to collect the items, you have to wear your mask. Sometimes you have to wear your gloves. Then the app was very clear about it. It says when you go to the house of the resident, you call the resident, you keep the item in front of their door and walk 2 meters away and wait for them to pick it up. And that was what we were doing. The only challenge came when initially we had to pay. I had to pay for so I had to pay for some items, and then they wanted to give me the money in cash. Okay, I didn't plan for that because I didn't plan for that. I had to just let it go at some point because I was like, okay, it's not so much money. I just let it go. So we still had to keep the distance.
Sure. Um, Maybe what have you learned throughout your volunteering experience, or like what have you learned and stuff?
Yes, I came to understand or I came to appreciate it at different levels. At the level of an individual, at the level of a human being, I was able to appreciate the fact that the basic love and care for humans as humans share among each other. At that point, people were really doing their best to help other people. They didn't care about their affiliations or where they came from, or the color of their skin, or their nationality, or it didn't matter that. And I was happy to see that. I also was also impressed with the way, even the way the government institutions were handling the matter. I like the pharmacies when I went to collect the medications. They were really cooperative. They just needed to see some basic form of ID, and they were really helpful. I liked the fact that I learned the fact that I had to borrow a higher bicycle then during that period of time. I had to buy a higher bicycle from Cycle Boost in Sheffield. Yes, and it was a very smooth process. They gave me the bicycle. It was for free. I just returned the bicycle a few days ago. Yes, it was for free. I just went. I thought it was a joke. I went there and they gave me a brand new bicycle, a brand new car, helmet, and all the safety precautions with the bicycle. And I used it at some point during the pandemic to deliver some of the items. And I like the fact. I like the way they coordinated it. And I was like, this is how humanity. That's how humans are supposed to behave. At the time of our worst crisis, the best of us was able to show, and that was very important to me.
Would you recommend other students to volunteer as well?
Yes, yes, of course, definitely. I would recommend everybody to volunteer, but I would say you should find your niche, find that aspect in volunteering which you think you'll be most comfortable with, and which you think you'll be most effective, which will be very safe for both you and the person you're actually helping. Which is that's very important. And I think everybody should do their best. If all of us in the whole world will just do little, everybody just do your own part, just a little bit, everybody. You can imagine we would have had a better world today than we have already.
Do you have any advice for any students who want to volunteer during this pandemic?
Yes, for during this pandemic, I would say yes. Do not hesitate to put yourself out there. Um, but safety first. You take the necessary precautions. Do not put yourself in harm's way. You have to be alive to volunteer and help the next person. So I advise that yes, they should go out there. They should not hesitate, and they should do their best to help their community as much as they can. That's just the very least we can do. What else can we do?
I think we should wrap up right now. And do you plan, maybe my last question, do you plan to volunteer during this pandemic? Or are you still volunteering right now?
Yes. During the volunteering process, I started writing my thesis, my dissertation.
Oh,
So I had to slow down a bit because I couldn't do both of them simultaneously effectively because the alarm for the volunteering app could blow off at any time.
yeah.
So it meant once you did that, you had to go and help them. So at a point, I had to turn it off for a while before I turned it back on again, so that I
Oh,
was able to concentrate to do my work. Yes, because it wasn't easy. I just turned it back on now, so to continue. But initially, it was working. Then I had to slow down a bit. I submitted my dissertation, and then we continue.
okay. Thank you so much for Kelvin for joining us and accepting our interview. I hope everyone has enjoyed our video, and let's have a virtual applause to Kelvin, who has shared his volunteer experience during this pandemic. So, if you guys are interested in volunteering, please refer to our Sheffield volunteering website and check out any volunteering opportunities. There are some volunteering opportunities that are offline and as well online. So, please check out. And thank you, Kelvin. Have a
Thank
good
you so much.
and take care. Let me
Take
video. I'm so sorry. I'm quite nervous.
care.